Welcome back to Pop Culture Yearbook. On this show, we pick pieces of pop culture that were important to us in a given year. We then discuss our memories and dig into those movies, albums, shows, and more. I'm Brad.
I am Pete.
And I'm Giff.
And, I switched it up a little. I said, welcome back, guys, because we're back. It's season 5. This is very exciting.
I didn't think we'd get re-signed for another season, but they liked us. Our listeners liked us.
Negotiations went well.
I gotta say, it's pretty amazing that we started this in 2021. Well, we started it almost a whole year before that.
During the pandemic.
Releasing the episodes in 2021, and we've put out almost 200 episodes, and here we are, and we're not done, and we're not quitting. So we hope that you like us, you really like us, and we'll keep listening.
We basically spent 10% of our lives doing this podcast. You know that? Think about that.
Wow. Even better is if you do like this show, what a perfect opportunity with a new season to go invite a friend and pass us off and tell them to listen to Pop Culture Yearbook. It's not just us three. We had a good interview 2 weeks ago with Gary Graff. And we've had other interviews like that before too. And it's pretty cool to talk to those people and learn from the experts and the people who kind of paved the way. So,
and also getting into, a community of independent podcasters, the relationships we've made there and going on their pods and them coming on ours have just been absolutely wonderful.
Just a second.
Yeah. Most importantly, just the three of us, man.
Yeah.
How wonderful does that get?
The band is back together.
Back together for a whole another year.
It'll be a successful year, and we'll all three be together all year, and Pete won't have to dilly-dally back and forth.
I hope I don't get laid off again this year. That would be very bad. I'm
glad you put the off at the end of that sentence there.
No, that I do hope. I do.
At least once
this year.
At least once.
That's all I need.
All right. Well, speaking of,
I don't know if I can handle any more than that anymore.
Speaking of this coming season 5, what are we looking forward to this year? Is anything going to be different? Do we have any plans? What do you think, Pete?
I am looking for. Are we doing podcastily?
What are you looking forward to?
I think that we are going to be way more edgier, and there's going to be a lot more nudity, and you are not going to want to miss this season.
I don't know how we get more nudity. That's going to be tough to fit in. I'm a little
confused by that response as well, but
I don't know. I guess
we'll have to see where it goes.
That's what sells. Now the people are going to be listening, and they're going to try and figure out how we're going to work that out.
Yeah, especially on an audio-only situation.
Yeah. That's our listeners will appreciate that.
Sure.
Is that your whole answer, Pete?
Well, you only gave me like an hour to figure this out, and so that's all I had written.
I didn't know. That was just your lead in.
I do want to mention we are starting to pick up a little bit of ad revenue and sponsorships, so we are growing, and our numbers are really accelerating. So I'm looking forward to continued exponential growth of listenership, and that's why you got to tell your friends. It's like a pyramid scheme.
We made about $1, but we have increased a little bit recently. So, but
and that's split 3 ways.
This ties back to that we thank the audience for sticking with us. But if they could, bring in some more people, then hey, that might increase our quality of the show as well. Who knows?
Basically like Amway, right? You tell 2 people, and then they tell 2 people, they tell 2 people, and before you know it, you're at the top of the pyramid. It's a Ponzi scheme.
That's the goal. All right, Giff.
Well, I mean, I've said it before to anybody who would listen. The big reason I do this podcast is because I get to see 2 of my best friends every week, and that is the payoff for me. It's not only coming on and talking to you guys weekly, but it's just the ridiculousness of the text chain as the weeks go on, and staying connected that way as well. So that's what I'm looking forward to. We've laid out some upcoming months as far as years go, and I'm looking forward to digging into those as always, and finding some gems and reliving some stuff The nostalgia is a big thing for us on this podcast. So
That's the gift that just keeps
that.
on giving the whole
does.
year.
It does, Clark. Yeah. How about you, Brad?
All right. Well, you brought up like the podcast family and community that we've come into. So next week we're recording once again with Children of the '80s, and we're going to be on
Mhm.
their show for a big theme song bracket. And I don't even know when that's coming out. When this comes out, we'll have already recorded that. Here we go again with that whole time thing.
Yes.
But I'm looking forward to that. Jim's really excited about what he's put together for that. I haven't announced this to you guys yet, but I'm going to be a guest once again on the Soundtrack Your Life show, which I was on once when they grilled me about beautiful girls. But this time we're doing Pop Star, which we've done on the show, and so it's going to be great. I didn't pick it; like they came to me and said, "You want to do this?" So they should be into this one, hopefully.
Well, you should have told them you don't want any of this shit. So that's what you should have said.
That's Walk Hard.
Oh, that's Walk Hard.
You're
shit,
mixing
that's
up
right.
the biopics now.
I am. God dang it. Oh well.
No, this is when they, I'm gonna do them like they did Bin Laden. That's the Pop Star.
Yes. Have fun.
Another thing I'm excited about, though, and you alluded to this, GIF, looking at, we are the pop culture yearbook. And so, in a given month, we are going to talk about 1 year. And our main goal was to cover the years from 1980 to 2020, but we're definitely more heavy on the 80s and 90s because that's when we grew up. And that's what I think our audience is more interested in. We only have 3 years left that we haven't covered fully as a group, 1981, 1982, and 1997. In those 2 decades. And so I'm very excited that we're going to finish those up this year. And then we're going to go back and hit a lot of things that we've already done, of course, but actually like check off, this is how long we've been doing this. We've checked off all those years. I think that's kind of a nice little milestone there.
It is a nice little milestone.
Yep.
And then I'm just excited to see where we go because we're going to have some other months and weeks where we just make up, different things that are fun and related like we like to do sometimes. And it'll be fun to see what we come up with.
Then our show is going to be all politics.
Oh God.
Oh,
yeah, that'll
boy.
amp up. That'll amp up something.
Yeah.
At least the hate mail.
I think we'll lose a lot of listeners if we do that.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, quick before we get into the theme of tonight, since this is a new season, it's early in the year. We're just going to share something we're looking forward to personally this year as well, because we do like to get into those personals and those memories. So instead, this time we're going to look at something we're looking forward to. So I'm going to go first on this one because you guys went last before. My wife and I, in end of June and July, are taking a trip to Alaska, and so it's a very easy choice there. We're gonna spend 2 nights in Vancouver and do a bunch of stuff there. We're gonna 7 nights at sea, sailing up, and then we're taking another 5 days or so on the train up to Denali and back. We're going to do the entire thing. It's going to be incredible. And this is a trip that's been 5 years in the making because we had it planned with our kids in 2020 and it got canceled. So now we're going, but they're not coming. So too bad.
They missed out.
They got to stay home all summer and work to help pay for their schooling now. So
that's
when
true.
did you say you're going in June?
Yes, end of June we are leaving. We'll be gone over the July and into July.
Okay. All right.
Sweet.
We are. I'll go into mine then. We are in the stages of planning right now, but as some of our listeners know, we had a trip to Europe planned, and that got put on the back burner because of that I got laid off from my job. But now that's back on, and we are putting it together for early June. So we're looking forward to rebooking that, and hopefully we'll actually be able to go this time. So
where exactly are you planning to see?
Well, that's a good question because we had planned on Amsterdam, London, and Paris, but I think we're going to switch it to probably Ireland instead of Amsterdam, and still do probably London and Paris, but still ironing out those details.
I would not give up Amsterdam, but that's just my personal.
Well,
after teaching Anne Frank for 26 years, I have got to go see the hiding place. It's on my bucket list, and we will do it one of these days, but it's still a ways away.
All right.
Plus, Amsterdam's cool anyway, but
it is. You got the red light district there too. Everything's legal.
That is a requirement that we go to the Anne Frank house. Side
Oh.
note, since you brought up Europe, we are also in the process of planning for the next summer a trip to Scotland, to not only play some golf, but our wives are likely going too, and so just a whole bunch of fun things to do in Scotland. But that'll be in the next year.
Oh,
But we get to
Okay.
plan, so that's the exciting part of this year.
say hi to Fat Bastard for me.
Okay.
Well, the other thing that I do want to say I'm looking forward to, I did start a new job in late December, and so now that's ramping up and picking up some more and more responsibilities. So I'm looking forward to the new adventures and potentially travel that this job is going to bring. I'm looking forward to it.
That's great. We've all been
Yeah.
on the edge of our seats, and so now we got some optimism.
Yep,
Right.
yep. I had fallen right off the seat many times. Trust me.
Yes.
Well, one big thing we've got coming up this year, and it's exciting and terrifying at the same time. And I've got to get my second child, my youngest son, through driver's training. So, involved with that will also be the purchase of a vehicle for him. And then on top of that, my truck is basically falling apart. It's the same truck that I had when I still did installs, and I've just been driving that around because it's paid off. But so I'm going to have to purchase 2 vehicles this year and get my son through driver's ed. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily looking forward to that, but I will be happy once all of that is complete.
Yes.
So wish me luck. I'm a little nervous about it. I know he's a little nervous about it, but we'll get it done, and he'll be driving early part of his sophomore year of high school. So
we went through that again last year. It's not the most fun, and we are now owners of 4 cars. So
are you looking to sell one?
no, we just bought because we tried to get through the first year of college with Isaac not having a car, but it just wasn't quite working. So we bought another one in December, and now we have
Yeah.
4.
Yeah, lovely.
How's the
But-
insurance payments?
I was
then?
going to say the insurance is great on all that.
They already were so high. It really didn't go up that much crazier. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Well, doesn't it help a little bit that the second one's a girl? Aren't boys tend to rate a little more expensive?
Yeah.
So
I do want to
So, yeah.
before I do want to give a quick shout out before we actually get into our topics for tonight. The host from last week, Gary Graff, and we talked ad nauseum about his book, and it was a fantastic episode. And with the book, what I've been doing, and I've you guys know this, but I'm looping the audience in because maybe it'll spark some ideas for the audience and want to go out and buy the book. What I do is I have the book. And every morning I get out of bed, 6:30 a.m., I close my eyes, I open the book and put my finger on a page. And so that will take me to an album that's from the 90s, one of the top 501 most essential albums. And that's the album that I listen to while I'm on the treadmill for 30 minutes. So, and it
Nice.
works great. I love it. It's fun. It keeps me motivated. And so you should too, listener.
One follow-up question. So you're on there for 30 minutes. Most of these albums are going to be obviously more. Do you finish it, or do you just stick to I heard enough, I'm moving on to a new one?
I pretty much just say I've heard enough, moving to a new one. Now, if it gets to be where the weather is nice and I'm able to go outside and run, maybe I'll go for a little bit longer runs that way. But no, what I do right now is I just end it at 30 minutes and say that was good enough. Usually you hear the best songs from the album are within that first 30 anyway.
I was going to say, do you sometimes kind of skip ahead, like if the song you're not totally into, to try to get to more songs, and you kind of skip through a little bit?
Nope, I don't skip ahead at all. I just
Curious.
start from the
Okay.
beginning. I hit play, and that's it.
All right. Well, that's
Excellent.
pretty cool, and I think hopefully Gary hears that, and because I think that's great.
Yeah.
So, all right, we are here tonight to talk about. Well,
We have to. Yep. Thank you, Gifford. You just reminded me. For the
welcome.
whole new season, I'm opening the yearbook now on a new season, and
Woohoo!
this is going to be a fun one here.
but not to a particular page or year, because our first month is going to be a little bit all over the place. We're going to page back and forth in that yearbook.
Yes, but
It's
it's
all-
a special section. Section.
Well, it's the back page where everybody autographs it and signs it because it's all people we love, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we did a second chance month a couple of years ago where we all went back and we picked something that was from a year we had already covered, but a topic that we didn't fit in that year that we thought was important to do. This is kind of similar to that. But in that, actually, no, it was that year. Last year we did it where we did the draft and we kind of helped each other pick, and that's how we came up with Married with Children and Major League. So we've done this two different ways. Tonight we are going to just simply, we've each chosen one topic that we haven't covered yet on this show that's very important to us that we love. Now February is the month of what?
Valentine's.
My
Yeah, so
birthday.
And Pete's birthday.
It's the month of love and Valentine's Day. So we're going to call it like stuff we love, and we're going to pick something that we really love that we haven't yet given that love to. And then that's going to be what we talk about each week. So after this, we got 3 weeks left and we'll each have one. So what we're going to do is go through stuff we considered. And then after that, we will share what our actual choice was. And it'll be really interesting to see if some weird chance here we end up picking the same thing, because wouldn't that be something? We have
Well,
not
that's
shared
why
We've
we've got-
automatically do it then.
Yeah. Here's what I think we should do. I think whoever's going to go first can kind of share the things they were going to pick and then give us their choice. And then that way we don't actually, because if you pick the same thing I'm going to pick, I'm obviously not going to pick that. So I'll take something off of my list that I haven't revealed yet.
All right, well, we're going to do mine next week. So I'll go first.
Yeah,
I guess.
you go first. Yeah.
So like we have not shared this with each other. So it's going to be a surprise.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing it blind. So here are some things I considered. I started with some movies. One of the first movies that came to mind was Austin Powers. I can't wait to do that. But that movie's from 1997, and we already established we haven't done 1997. So I figured we'll probably get to that anyway.
Yeah.
So that's why I took it out. And if somebody picks it, so what? There's other good stuff. It's a great year. Coming to America and Trading Places were two that the two favorite Eddie Murphy movies that I can't get enough of. I would love to do either one of those. But I did not pick them yet. We love, even though he's a curmudgeon and he's had issues, we love Chevy Chase here, and we haven't done Fletch. And Fletch is an all-time quotable movie that I would love to do.
I thought that was going to be your pick, honestly.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, not yet. And then one more movie is one that I did bring up when we did our draft of this same topic last year. It's not a comedy. It doesn't quite fit our normal thing, but I would love to do Cape Fear. Cape Fear would be a great movie. It was hugely important to most of us when it came out. So those are my movies that I picked from, but did not make the final cut. I thought of 3 albums that I would love to talk about that we haven't yet. I mean, there's a lot of albums. I could probably go on and on and on. But I tried to pick artists that we haven't covered. So, like, of course, I could pick another REM album or something like that. But these are 3. Actually, I take that back. I'm looking at the first one I listed. We've already have done one on, but I guess I messed up. First one is Tom Petty, Into the Great Wide Open. I brought it up with Gary last week. I love that album. I know it's maybe not considered his best, but I was thinking about it when he said, that's not even really a Tom Petty essential. And I get it. But I was thinking about why I love it so much. And it's like the time period. It's, how music is so important to you personally. So 89, Full Moon Fever comes out. I've known all the Petty hits, but I'm only 13. So I've heard a lot of his hits. I had MTV in the 80s, so I know who he is. And then Full Moon Fever was awesome. We all loved Running Down a Dream. We all loved that album. So, this is 2 years later, right on the heels of that, he puts out this next one. And so, of course, I had a thirst for it, and I loved it. And so that's why I think that one is so great, even if it's maybe not considered like, one of his top 2 or 3. Toad the Wet Sprocket, Fear, one of my favorite albums of 91. That is a great, great band that I love. And the big one that we haven't done that we've talked about is INXS Kick. I consider that as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's only 3 TV shows I could think of. I had a hard time thinking of TV shows because I wanted to think of something older. I mean, we could do some new streaming shows, like we did Ted Lasso, and we could pick one of those, but they're not on my radar right now. But I would like to rewatch a lot of episodes of some of these shows someday. The Jeffersons, The Love Boat, and Alice. Those are the 3 shows that I have so many good memories of as a kid, but I haven't hardly seen an episode for years and years. And so all those came to my mind as well.
Alice, by the way, who is the actress's name? I don't have it in
Lavin.
front of me. She just recently passed away
Just
last
passed.
month, I think it was.
What's
Very
funny too,
sadly, so-
because she was in. Me and Kim and I just watched on Netflix. Maybe you guys have seen the show on there.
The one with Lisa Kudrow and
Yeah.
Ray Romano.
Ray Romano.
Yep,
And
I'm
Linda
partway
Lavin
through
was
it.
on that. She had a very small
Yes.
part on that. Yeah. So
Yep, I'm watching it right now.
I also thought of 3 other just topics that I really want to hit on. One is 80s country. We're going to do an 80s country someday, and that's one of my favorite topics. And then 2 others that we might work in an 80s here instead, MTV videos and
Mhm.
Looney Tunes. These are all things that have been important and that have crossed my mind. So that's a long list of things I would love to talk about, but none of them made the final cut.
Oh,
Do you
boy,
either
drum
have
roll.
a guess? Do you have a guess as to what I picked? Now, keep in mind, this is going to come out next week, specifically because Valentine's Day is going to be next week.
Are you suggesting it's like a love movie, like a rom-com or something?
A love movie.
Love movie.
It's on the Naked Channel.
Right.
On
I
the
saw an episode of
VCR
Seinfeld
tape.
the other day where they're talking
Girl
about
with the blue
watching-
jeans off.
Oh,
watching
no,
the
not that one.
I love that.
All right. Well, now that you know it's a love movie, it should be a pretty obvious answer. I think.
When Harry Met Sally.
That's my pick.
Oh, that's a great.
Nice.
Can't wait. I watched it today, in fact, because it was -20 today and we didn't have school. And I'm like, I'm going to get my homework done and watch it.
God.
And I got a great episode planned. We're also going to draft our best couples in movies in that.
Tune in.
So it's a very Valentine's Day themed, and that's why I took the initiative and said we're doing this one first because it's the week of Valentine's.
Excellent.
Tune in next week. We're going to have Brad reenact the orgasm scene for us. It'll be great.
Yes. Horses, horses, horses.
When Harry Met Sally is my pick, and I will
Excellent.
turn it over. So you guys are happy with that then?
I
Oh,
guess.
yeah.
Okay, good.
That's a
I
great
thought-
love movie.
It's
It's a great.
a great, great.
It really
movie.
set the standard for modern love movies.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
All right.
I will turn it over then to. I'm going to turn it over to Pete. Walk us
Okay.
through what you came up with.
I'm going to read through these in the order that I have them on my sheet, and I start with TV shows. I've got 3 of them. The first one being I recently completed the series a couple of months ago, but it actually came out, a while back. Better Call Saul, just absolutely fantastic. Obviously, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. That's as good as it gets for. Gifford, why are you looking at me in that tone of voice?
So didn't we do an episode? No,
We
I
did
was just
Breaking
gonna
Bad,
say,
but not Better Call
we
Saul.
have a Breaking Bad episode, so
Yep.
please go back and listen to it if you
Yep.
missed it. No, we've never done Better Call Saul. So
Okay.
that's-
Well, because
Yeah.
tonight I might have a few that we've already covered. You'd be like, you idiot, we already did
That's-
that one. So
That's what I was thinking too. As I'm going through this, and I'm not going through 5 years worth of material just for
Right.
this, but
Guys, all you gotta do is ask me because I got it memorized.
another
Oh,
one I
wow.
know. My next one I know that we haven't done. It was the most special TV show to myself, and I think you guys as well. When I was a kid, and so many memories of this show, it was the premier TV show to watch. It was Dukes of Hazzard.
yeah.
So that one made my list. And then I'm pretty sure we haven't done this one yet, even though we've talked about it aplenty, and it's The Golden Girls.
Yeah,
Right?
that's a great choice.
Yeah.
So
Actually, that came up when we did our where we drafted with each other last year.
yeah.
Like I Cape Fear, one of you had brought up the Golden Girls, and I thought it was actually going to win, and then we ended up with Married with Children instead.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
So now we move to movies. The first one on my list, Airplane,
Yeah,
which really
Mhm.
set the stage for. We did do Naked Gun, which was the
Yep.
same type of humor, but this was really the original in terms of that kind of genre. Another classic when I was a teenager and that age or a little younger, I guess, Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yep.
Family favorite. We've talked about this one plenty too. Back to the Future. My
Back to
favorite.
Ferris Bueller, by the way, we have done both 16 Candles and The Breakfast Club, so you can go
Right.
find those as well.
Yep.
That's right. The next one, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which I'm sorry, not Temple of Doom, The Last
Thank you.
Crusade. I had
Last
Temple of Doom written down, but it's The Last Crusade that's actually my favorite of the 3. This next one, I'm quite certain we haven't done yet, and it's a crime that we haven't done this one. Caddyshack. Caddyshack.
No, we did Caddyshack.
We did
did
Caddyshack.
We did?
Yep,
Okay, well
that was my pick.
oh.
So
Well,
in
then it's not a
1980,
crime.
we didn't do Airplane, but we did Caddyshack and we did The Jerk because we
The
counted
Jerk from 79. Yep.
And then you
Okay.
picked Trivial Pursuit in 1980. So
I don't remember doing Caddyshack. I'll have to go back and listen.
That's the
Caddyshack.
crime.
All right,
yeah.
that is the crime.
I thought
Fast-
you Clue there, and you were going to pick Clue, but my guess now is you picked the movie Clue. That's my guess when you're all done.
Clue actually is not on my list. I
Wow,
forgot.
you talk about that
Ooh.
movie all the time.
Uh-huh.
Next one is a teen movie. It's Fast Times at Ridgemont High. We've talked about this one as being one of the greatest sequels of all time, Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
That's one we could save if we ever do that pop culture holes we've talked about, because you guys will make me watch the Terminator movies finally, because I've never
Well,
seen
you'd
them.
have to
That's right.
make yourself watch it because it's your hole. You got to watch your hole.
Well, we'll figure out how the process works of how we do that one. But yeah, right. Okay.
You get to pick your own hole, don't you? Go ahead.
The next one I have is The Natural. Just a great movie. Shawshank Redemption.
Yep. Got that one on my list.
And the last movie is Spaceballs.
Oh,
And so now we move to music. One album that I listened to all the time. It was one of my favorite albums when I was in college. Just put it on repeat. Red Hot Chili Peppers, Blood Sugar Sex Magic. Another great college one, Alanis Morissette, Jagged Little Pill. Metallica, the Black Album, and AC/DC, Back in Black, which is one that I was pissed off that we didn't choose another time.
Mhm.
But the winner, you guys may be a little bit surprised by this one, but it's fantastic.
Is it movie, TV, or music?
I'm
Music.
guessing music.
Can you give us a little clue so we can try to guess? So it's not AC/DC, which I thought because you tried it earlier. So, but
Yep.
it's not that.
It's not AC/DC or Metallica, but it's not far off either.
Welcome, Appetite for Destruction.
Oh, you got it. You got it.
Okay.
Nice. Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Just a brownstone. Okay, so
Greatest
we're
guitar
following
intro
up
of
a
all
love
time.
movie with hardcore Appetite for Destruction.
Roses, that's Valentine's Day.
Woo, how
Yeah.
perfect. So we got roses. Okay, Gifford, can you complete the theme?
I can't.
Ah, shoot. There's got to be
I'm-
some way to make it work.
Well, the theme, I thought you meant like, okay, well, you got a movie, Pete's got music, and then
Oh,
I gotta have
Valentine's
TV.
theme.
Yeah,
Roses
I can work it. I can work it in there.
Love.
No, I don't know if I can. But
Okay, well, we'll see. We'll help you when you get there.
here we go. So, I had for TV, I got News Radio.
Nice.
I had Dukes of Hazzard on there, but Pete already mentioned that one. For movies, Forrest Gump, love Gump.
And when you brought up
um,
Shawshank, I thought of Forrest Gump right away because those two movies are so like, just
Yeah.
because they came out the same year, they just
Yep.
interchangeable to me, even though they're nothing alike. But
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
I always
those
think of
two
them together.
movies, it's like the same movie. It's like
I
Barbie
did,
and Oppenheimer.
right.
well, yeah, you would have that same relationship though with those two
Yeah.
movies probably in 20 years from now.
Right. I forgot TV wise, Modern Family
Yes,
would
sweet.
be a
It's
good one to cover. Getting back to movies, Weekend at Bernie's. I've always loved that. And that would be a fun one to cover. Mallrats.
Oh, I just watched that like 2
it's
weeks
so
a week
good.
ago. Yeah, it's better than I thought because I remembered, I love Clerks so much, and I
Mhm.
saw Mallrats in the theater, and it wasn't terrible, but I don't remember liking it that much and thinking that it probably aged really bad and it's probably pretty stupid, and it's not great, but like it was worth an hour and a half. Like
It's still pretty stupid, but
Yeah.
I really enjoy it.
like I found enough to like that it wasn't a waste of time at least, so that's good.
Right. Yeah, it wasn't uncomfortable like in the back seat of a small car. So that's good. Yeah.
That's a good. I get.
I get that reference. American Pie would be a
Ooh.
good one to get into.
That would be fun.
Can't Hardly Wait.
Yeah, I love that movie.
Love that movie. Predator. I love everything to do with that whole collection.
Glad we scored.
And then the last one in my movies, and this was hard for me not to pick this, Dirty Dancing. That was my runner-up.
Oh man, my wife hears this episode. She may leave me for you.
That's the second time now. It's because that was one you brought up in that last year, and it didn't make the cut then. So it's right
always
there on
high
that.
on my
Yeah,
list.
and I thought it was going to make it because what was it last year or 2 years ago that we let the ladies? It was a ladies' choice month.
I thought for
But
sure
my
your
wife
wife would pick
chose.
Dirty
She
Dancing.
chose New Kids on the Block that year.
So your wife can't complain because she had her chance, and
Right.
she did not choose.
So I hate to say
Yeah.
it, but I'm putting Dirty Dancing in a corner once again. So I
Do you have any
apologize
music,
for that.
Gifford?
So when we did Second Chance, I didn't think about this, but it came up again. When we did Second Chance month, I went back to the year 1994 and picked Dumb and Dumber. So after some consideration and trying to figure out how I wanted to cover this particular subject, I ended up picking an album
Wow.
from 1994.
You both went albums. That's crazy.
Yeah. And I don't pick albums that often.
Okay, so 94. So we've already done Weezer.
Yep.
I don't think we did anything else from that year yet. But
And this is kind of going against my own rule. Like when we go through and pick music for a year or albums or whatever, I really tend to stay away from greatest hits albums. But again, this is something that I love so much that
so
I
it's
figured
Garth Brooks.
this is Garth Brooks' The Hits.
Okay, I thought you would pick Garth Brooks, but I thought you would pick No Fences or the other, one of those.
So
You're
I
going
went
with-
through my CD collection tonight, pulling out all 10 of the CDs that I could find. The only one that's not in there is No Fences, so I got to find it somewhere in the house. But this gives a good overall, run of the first run of albums.
Can I
prior
say
to
one
Fresh
thing
Horses.
though that might be
Yeah.
an issue? Garth Brooks is not on Apple Music, so
Is it just Apple Music or all streaming services?
I don't know about all streaming services,
I'm
but
not sure
I've
about
actually tried to listen to Garth Brooks before, and he doesn't do Apple Music. I don't think.
I'll
But-
have to check. I wonder. My
wonder
wife
if
might
Spotify
have
has it.
that CD. I'll have to because she has. We have.
I
some
don't
good-
have any CDs anymore, but
Oh no. Well, we'll have to see. Maybe I need to mail you a. That's a good question. I didn't even think about that because, of course, I'm sitting here with the CD in my hand, and I do have a CD player still, and I can hook it up in there. Yeah, you know what? That's a good point,
Right.
Pete.
Garth is not on Spotify either. So how about this? Do
Oh
you have
no.
a backup? We can still. We'll figure it out probably. But do you have a backup if we want to switch it so it's not a huge?
Well, my backup is Dirty Dancing.
oh,
I mean, that's my first cut. That's my
That's
100. That's my 500-second album, as we talked about with Gary.
that's it. Jenny's
So-
leaving me. It's over.
So if we can't figure out a way for you guys to listen to Garth Brooks' The Hits, that is the way we would go. Is we'd go with Dirty Dancing. So try to find, this is going to be a little ways out. So go to a store, see if you can find it somewhere, and
it
listen.
might be right on the other side of that wall over there. I got to go check as soon as we're done.
Sure.
We have Garth Brooks CD. My wife had a bunch when we got together.
Yeah.
So I just don't know which one.
If I Google maybe Garth Brooks The Hits, how to purchase or something like that, I'm sure it'll come up. Or
Yeah.
maybe there's a way to download it that's not
Or-
through any of those services.
I could get a CD or I could get the vinyl too of it if it's out there because I have a
There
record.
you go.
I could sit and play Nintendo and listen to it on vinyl while I'm.
Perfect. So that is my pick. I figure that way, we're covering 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 albums.
Well, and you love
The first 5. The first 5
makes
albums.
sense. This way you can get into more than just one thing, and you can do whatever
Yep.
you want to say about Garth Brooks.
Yeah.
You can get it out of your system.
It was funny going through the CD collection because I also have quite a few Brooks and Dunn albums. How many Brooks there are in my CD collection still? So
A lot of Brooks.
a lot of Brooks.
Because this didn't go as expected at all. Because if anybody was going to pick an album, you guys would have expected it to be me.
Yeah.
And I picked a movie, and then you both go and pick a music topic instead.
Pete tends to pick music a little bit, and he's more musically inclined than I am. But
I
picked music.
Yeah, you know me. When you look at me, you think music talent right there.
You hear that mellifluous voice.
Right. Well, and a hell of a trumpet player, back in the day. Right. So
Only I'd stuck with it.
Yeah. So hopefully you guys can find it. Let me know as soon as you can. Otherwise, we may be calling an audible here and doing Dirty Dancing. So
we'll figure it out.
That is what I would like to be my pick for February. The one thing I will say, I'm having a hard time tying it in because, I was trying to think of a song that he has, but there's not one necessarily on this album that would
actually
necessarily.
I'm sure, I think for Shameless and Thunder Rolls are probably on 2 different CDs, right?
Shameless and Thunder Rolls. Because Shameless, isn't that Rope in the Wind? Is Thunder Rolls?
Those are like my favorite songs.
Yeah, it was Rope in the Wind.
I should be able to listen
to Shameless is on Rope in the Wind, and Thunder Rolls, I think, is on No Fences.
But Shameless is an absolute freaking banger.
God, I love that song.
They gotta both be on the hits.
Well, Shameless.
Shameless is there, and where's Thunder Rolls? Thunder Rolls. It's on there.
Okay, so see, that works out well for me, who is not as big of a fan as you are, but I get to hear both of my favorites. There's a few others I like too, of course. So
right,
I like it.
Well, Friends in Low Places is on there. So
to recap, next week for Valentine's Day, we are going to talk about When Harry Met Sally, and we're going to draft our best couples in movies. I thought about doing TV, but I'm glad that I made my list today because I had plenty of movie ones. And we're going to just stick to movies. So think of like rom-coms, although they don't have to be in a rom-com. It can be a different movie too.
Yep.
And then we're going to do Appetite for Destruction by Guns N' Roses to fit the theme of love and roses. Pete, do you have any idea what you might choose for a top 5 yet?
No, I don't know.
Okay, just throwing you on the spot. And then I think we can fit this in, Gift. So if we finish with Garth Brooks to end the month, it's his hits album. Those are all the best songs everybody loves. So that's like a Valentine's Day thing because it's all the best ones put together. It's like a box of chocolates.
You never know what you're going to get.
Well done.
But it's going to be great no matter what you get.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Now, what I would also like to say is I really hope that people listen to this episode, first of all. But if we listed a lot of stuff tonight. So you can see our show ain't done. We got a lot of things that we want to cover still. We can do this for years. But if we mention something that you truly love and that you want us to do, let us know. Go on X or Instagram or Facebook or Threads or whatever, or email us and tell us which thing we named that we didn't pick that you want us to hear. And so, for example, we got a few months planned out a little bit, but like in July, we usually like to do something special. So maybe we would do Listener Month if we got enough, people to respond.
If we have more than 3 listeners, that would be great.
I was going to say we need more. We need to triple our listenership by July.
So anyway, we would love to hear which things we named you also want to hear about because we could move those up in the process.
Yeah,
we'll figure out a way to make it done.
Please, yeah, and we love anybody reaching out and talking to us on the socials. That's always fun. And of course, go on to Apple Pods and give us a 5-star rating. Click submit on whatever service you're listening on, so that you don't miss an episode.
Starting this season 5, it's a great time to bring in a new listener to the show, but also go on and give that 5-star rating if you are so inclined. It only takes a second, but it does help out the show, and we appreciate it more than you would even know.
Right.
So What do you got? Anything else, or does that wrap this one up?
I think it's going to wrap it up, fellas.
Hey,
Everything
Gifford.
fine?
Hey,
What,
Pete.
What band does everybody love?
That is Preacher Row.
Yeah, I didn't have a funny one this time necessarily, but it fit the theme of what we were talking about.
It
so
did.
that's
It
all I
certainly
had to do.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, Preacher Row. Thanks
All right,
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thanks for coming back.
Bye.
Bye, everybody. Goodbye.
Standing on my own till fear. No one's here to comfort me. Sorry for what I have done. Sorry that your son is gone. 7 steps and it will be my last. Hands tied, tell me on my back. I turn it up to you. I'm scared, but there's nothing I can do.